What's going on, everybody? You're now watching the greatest channel that has ever existed. My name is Bitcoin Benito, and I truly appreciate you guys for being here with me. Today, I am with Jake Sharpe, a really great guy that's in the crypto community. In fact, let me allow him to introduce himself.
You appreciate it. Man, I haven't done an introduction in a while. So I've been in crypto since end of 2016. I started my YouTube channel and kind of publicly talking about crypto back in 2020, 2021 under different accounts. And then I did the public one with Jake Sharpe in 2022. And ever since that, it's kind of been a very awesome ride. And now we're launching a TitanX, which is what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, so can you, I don't know, describe TitanX? Can you give me like an elevator pitch for TitanX? What it does exactly?
So I've been in crypto for a very long time. And one of the things that always fascinated me, so I used to be a lead software engineer, so I've always been obsessed with systems and numbers. Like what I like telling my friends is like, if the best birthday present you can give me is give me a Google Sheet, lock me up in a room, and lock me up in there for 24 hours, and I have the time of my life. Just Google Sheets and numbers. So been around in crypto for a very long time, and I've always been obsessed with game theory. So I've always had a document of like the best game theory I've seen across all of the different projects. And ever since the 2020, 2021 bull run, I've seen so much good game theory pass by. But one of the things that always annoyed me is you have so many different projects, and every project kind of has one good tokenomic, another good tokenomic, another good tokenomic, and it's always spread out. And I've never understood why other crypto projects don't learn from other crypto projects on what tokenomics work extremely well for price performance and ROI. And I've just never seen anybody, I guess you could call it smart enough or brave enough to take all of the good tokenomics, combine them into one, and then make it an application layer so other people can build on top of it and build their businesses on top of it. That's basically what TitanX is. So the TitanX can basically be looked at as an application layer where projects can build on top of TitanX, and they can buy and burn a supply if they want, or they can burn a supply if they want. And they can essentially build projects on top of TitanX, and TitanX kind of becomes an application layer on top of Ethereum. That's probably the best introduction I have at this point. It'll probably get more refined over time, but I guess will be a good summary.
So what you do is so I looked over your white paper, actually. I'm going to try to add it if I can. So it seems like you take the best things about Zen crypto, and you take the best things about Pulse-Chain and a little bit of Hex crypto, and you combine them together to make your own new token, to make your own protocol. Is that what you thought about it? That's what you were talking about with the notes that you write in your
So for example, with Zen, there were two elements that I was a massive fan of. One is the idea of first principles and having a fair distribution of the initial token supply. I love that, because one of the biggest things that you see in crypto that just wrecks everybody is pretty much every big crypto becomes a VC enrichment firm, where there's a bunch of pre-sale rounds and a bunch of sacrifice and ICO and this and that, and a bunch of different seed rounds, so that by the time it hits the market, the actual normal retail public, which is kind of what crypto was kind of built for, just kind of gets wrecked, and they become extra liquidity for the early VC people that bought it before it was ever on market. So Zen was a massive inspiration for the fair launch principles and the token distribution model and the proof of burn. Hex was a big inspiration for the staking elements. So as you see with Hex, it did a 10,000x from bottom to top during the last bull run.
Yes.
And a big reason for that is so much of the supply was locked up, so that even a little bit of buy pressure pushes the price up heavily because there's so little to be bought on market. And even now, like in the last couple of days, you had a big bump on Hex, but it almost went up 200% in the period of 5 days. And that's all because majority of the supply is locked up, so it's not in the dexes. So any small amount of buy volume that comes in really pushes the price. So that's a second good tokenomic. Third good tokenomic was PulseX. PulseX has some issues with it, where $1 billion of money was sacrificed. So there's $1 billion holding that thing down, so that anytime it pumps, people just sell into it. So my question was, what if you just take the Hex staking elements, make it better so that stakers get paid in Ethereum instead of inflation on the token, so that when they realize their gains, they're not dumping down the actual token, but they're dumping Ethereum, which doesn't hurt the actual price of the project. What if you had Zen-style fair distribution and making an application layer for other projects to build upon with a token lockup and immense, insanely high buy and burn?
Yes, so you can see right here, this is TitanX, talking about the pump and mentals that you were talking about. I read it. It's actually a very detailed white paper. Some of the specifics, like the buy and burn, they're a little bit complicated, but I don't think it's that complicated as long as you read it, as long as you like internalize it. It's almost like reading a a calculus, studying for a calculus 1 exam or something like that, yes, it's very difficult at the beginning. But if you just pay attention to the numbers, look at them again, you get used to it. So can you talk to me about the mining? So, okay, the first question I want to ask is why, I know that you have been in the past, you've been in the Richard Hart ecosystem a little bit, or I don't know if you still are. Why did you still are? Okay. Why did you decide to not launch it on Postchain? Why did you decide to launch it on Ethereum?
Yep. So I think CryptoCardinal said it, is marketing 101 is you go where the money is. So Ethereum still has over $1 billion a day in volume on Uniswap. Pulsechain, back when I made that claim, was at 8 million a day. Now it's kind of on a pump, so it bumped up to 40 million a day. But I would kind of love to see Pulsechain get maturity. I would get massive adoption. So if it passes that mark of hitting 100 million a day, which is a very mature blockchain with a lot of money flowing through it, it's at that point it becomes very interesting to build on it. But right now it's better to just focus all of the community's attention and economic energy on one, because if you launch Titanx on Ethereum and you launch it on Pulsechain, now you have two ways where money can flow. So it's better to just make one really big thing that attracts the most people, has the best chart, and rather than splitting that by pressure on a bunch of different random chains. Because one of the mental models I've always kind of looked at is every blockchain is just a splinter of Ethereum. Like everybody that is on Pulsechain is on Ethereum, but not everybody that is on Ethereum is on Pulsechain. So you're just targeting the biggest pool of people with the most money.
Yeah, to be honest, most people start on Ethereum and then they splinter into their own branches, like you said, but no one will ever get as big as the original branch, right? So the idea is the idea is why people splinter to their own branches, that there's so few people on that branch that if your branch ends up becoming popular, then your arbitrage or your growth is higher than if you had done it on Ethereum. And that's only because you didn't join Ethereum when Ethereum first came out, like, what was it, 2015, 2016? If you joined in 2015, you would be fine. But because you can't go back in time, you have to splinter off from them.
Yeah, but that was a big reason, because I'm definitely not against launching, because I'm actually looking at Pulsechain and X1 for launching Titanx in the future. And then there might be some things for the people who are early on Ethereum, might get some benefits when it launches on Pulsechain and X1. But we're still kind of working through that element of it.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's true. So you plan on launching on Postchain and X1. The Zen crypto ecosystem has, I think they're on like maybe 15 different chains, maybe even more than that. Why are you thinking of choosing to launch on X1 and Avalanche or Optimism or all these other ones?
Yep, that's a good question. So I'm just a massive fan of real DeFi, man. And I think stuff like Pulsechain stands for real DeFi, like what crypto was supposed to be built for: trustless, permissionless, no admin keys, all of that stuff, immutable code. And Pulsechain has a community that embodies that to its fullest. And X1 is going to be very, very similar. So those are pretty much the only two chains that really stand for it. Then you have stuff like Solana and Avalanche, but there's no real actual community there that stands for real DeFi. So those two are actually extremely attractive. And if X1 gets adoption, then it's going to be a great chain.
Yeah, I think X1 is definitely going to be great. The only other ones that I think that have like a really strong community are X1, of course, like Postchain and Solana. Solana, for some reason, has a very, very powerful community, even though they've been hacked so many times. They had so many problems with their protocol, but they keep getting so many more users that are using it over and over and over. And another thing too is that you may not want to launch on too many chains because you're starting off small. So the power of your Titanx tokens may be diluted over all these other different chains, right? So you definitely want to start off, especially now that I guess officially the past 2 days, the growth is so ridiculous that you can officially say that we have entered the very, very early stages of the bull market, or like the beginning of the consolidation market, I guess you would say. Like, look at all this. Everything is up. Mina is up. Injective is up. Pepe is up like 42%. All of these tokens are all the way up recently. And then, of course, these, I don't know. Can you see it?
Yep, I can.
You can?
All good.
Yeah, so these tokens right here, Hex, Postchain, all of them are up 130%, 70%, all that Postchain in the past week. All of them have exploded dramatically. So now you're going to start seeing people come in. You're going to start seeing people, okay, why are people so hyped? Why are they so happy that Post Chain is up 130%. Why are they so happy that Zen is up 40% in 1 week? So did you decide to launch during this time on purpose? Are you the reason why all the chains are exploding? Because you're like, okay, I'm coming out with a tight neck, so let me throw in $100,000 and then act like a whale, pump up these coins, and then it's going to be perfect timing to launch my coin.
I wish.
Do you have that much power?
No, but it is a lot based on timing. So on my YouTube channel, I have a proof of this. I call the Bitcoin bottom on the day, 2 months in advance before it actually happened. Nice. And then what usually happens is November 2022, you go sideways for a year, which is November 2023, which is basically in the next 7 days. We hit November. So the cycle is just playing out the exact same way. So launching now when it's the end of bear, start of bull is the best possible time ever for a project to launch, because you get none of the bear market and all of the bull market.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Yes. And on top of that, the people that are actually going to buy your tokens, they are already here. Because if you're in crypto right now, if you're still buying crypto right now I've been buying crypto. This last summer was the worst summer of all time, because I'll put my money, I'll literally take my paycheck, put it into Post Chain and put it into Zen. Those are the two ecosystems I'm heavily into. So I'll put it in both of those, and then I'll see my value literally a week later. Let's say I put in $200. Literally a week later, that $200 will go to $150 or $100. I'm like, why did I do this? I could have just taken that $200. I could have done anything. I could have even took that $200 and buy junk food. Even if it's not bad for me, at least I'm eating. At least I'm consuming calories, right, to live. But I put the $200 in, but it's almost that it has to be a mentality thing, that what you're going through right now is an investment in your future. It's just like even going to the gym. You go to the gym, it sucks, you're tired, running, you're sweating. It takes a lot of hours, but eventually you're going to become stronger. Or you're studying for a test, you put money, you spend a lot of time, you spend hours upon hours studying for that test instead of watching TV or hanging out with friends or anything like that. And you're like, oh, it feels like a loss at the beginning, but it ends up being worth way more than that 1 hour or 2 hours that you sacrificed at the beginning. So now we're seeing ourselves kind of, sort of start to see the benefits of what we're doing.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's kind of the funny thing in crypto. So when did you get in crypto roughly? What year was it when you went heavy?
So I got into crypto around 2017. So right around maybe summer of 2017, about 6 months before the all-time high. So I knew about crypto in 2015, 2016, but I was like, this is a scam. This is just fake money. You can't make real tangible things on the internet. It's not real. You can't touch it, right? And my thought process is anyone can just copy and paste your crypto, so it's useless to do that. So then I didn't really study it. So then when I actually got into it in the middle of 2017, right before that first crazy bull run, I studied it and I became obsessed with it. What's his name? Antonopoulos? I forgot his first name.
Yeah.
Is
it Bomb?
I think it's
Pompliano or whatever his name is.
Andrea Antonopoulos. Not
Pompliano. Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah. Yep.
Andrea Antonopoulos, I know. So I used to watch all his videos. I got really into it, and I was like, okay, this is absolutely amazing. He was talking about the double spend problem that has finally been solved. The Byzantine principle, I think, is another name for it, where it is impossible for you to spend the same amount of digital product more than once. And that has never been done before. That was initially the reason why I didn't even care about Bitcoin in the first place, because I'm like, anyone can copy and paste this, but you cannot copy and paste Bitcoin. Bitcoin is always going to be 21 million. So then when I looked into that, then I was like, even back then I was like, okay, Bitcoin is too popular. So let me invest into Ethereum and let me invest into Cardano. So I put my first token that I bought actually was Cardano. I put a lot of money in that. I put a lot of money in Ethereum. And then after that, I put a lot of money into CryptoKitties. So I don't know if you remember CryptoKitties. I bought like maybe 50 different cats. They were very expensive. I still put all my money into CryptoKitties. I was buying this. I had shiny new object syndrome pretty much. So I'll just buy the new things that happened over and over. So did you have a similar case when you got into crypto, or when did you get into crypto yourself?
Yeah, so it was end of 2016. It's actually kind of a funny story because I used to run a marketing agency, and one of our clients that we got was a local crypto educator. Mm-hmm. So we were shooting their funnel, like their VSL for the funnel, and I was the videographer, so I was shooting the event. And while shooting the event, I was learning about Bitcoin. I was like, damn, this shit is actually kind of interesting. So that's when I got really into crypto. But the thing that really pushed me over the edge, because in the beginning it was like, yeah, you could buy Bitcoin, you could buy Ethereum, but there's no real heavy use case. You can kind of send it back and forth. But then during the whole DeFi summer, that's when everything clicked. Wait, people can build on top of this. Wait, there's now borrowing and lending markets, and there's real DeFi being formed, and like we're replacing the banking system. That's when I got obsessed. I was just obsessed with crypto because I'm like, damn, like there's actually use cases here now. Trustless, permissionless banking, peer-to-peer. Dude, it's at that point I was like, okay, crypto, this is no way this is going away ever.
Was that 2019, 2018?
It was roughly it was a little bit before DeFi summer, and then DeFi summer kind of popped everything off, especially when people started creating a lot of ERC20s, and that's when you had a lot of these different protocols pop up. That's when I got very excited. Yeah, the whole real DeFi thing is the narrative that got me hooked on it. And so, yeah, the reason everybody's so calm, like guys like us, like we're diehard crypto at this point because we've experienced the bull market. There's a lot of people that got in at the top of the last bull market and all they've seen is down. But if you were there during the bull market, you know, like you wake up to a 30% pump, you go to sleep, you wake up to another 30% pump. So you're like, okay, maybe you lose 50% here and there, but like in the bull run 2 days and you're in profit again.
Exactly. Yeah.
So for us, it's a lot easier to stick around because like we've been here, you know, this is just timing analysis playing out. We're following the 4-year cycle. Man, yeah, crypto is the place to be. There's no better place to be.
Yeah, that's the other thing about crypto. Nothing is better, especially when you time it correctly. Nothing is better than crypto from an investment standpoint. Absolutely nothing. Even Bitcoin itself, of course, famous for has like a 1,000,000% pump. And if you were like really, really early in 2009, you got like a 3,000,000% pump if you were one of those very early people. So nothing else in the world has 1 million to 3,000,000% pump. Maybe Yahoo did or Amazon. Maybe those are the only things that have ever had such a ridiculous pump. But besides that, nothing else has such a pump too. So I would say right now, if you're getting into a business or anything like that, I would probably put your business, instead of investing in a business, especially if you want to make money in the next 2-3 years, just put it into crypto. You're going to receive a return no matter what you do. Let's say you put it in something more safe like Ethereum. You're going to have a return on your investment of like 500%, 600% in the next 2-3 years. So it's almost like get your return in Ethereum in the next 2-3 years. After those 3 years, then you can take those profits and put it into like a regular business, like a restaurant or something. That'll give you 20% ROI or something like that, right?
I mean, that's even the thing. Like at some point, I think the best combination ever, and this is what my friends started doing, is having an online business that has 100% profit margins and just fueling all of that money into crypto. Yes. It's probably the best way to play it. Because then you're leveraging, everything's digital. Because even the marketing agency, we ran it completely remote. We never did in-person meetings with clients. Everything was over Zoom. So really? I've always been an extremely big advocate of doing everything digitally because it allows you to be whatever you want to be and allows you to be flexible. So if you want to change tax regimes, you just take your laptop and the laptop is the business. And then you just funnel all profits into crypto and it's movable property. So you can go from country to country and it's totally fine. That's one of the things I never liked about real estate is because it locks you down in a specific country and it makes you immobile, which in today's day and age, you don't want to be immobile. You want to be mobile. That's another narrative that got me very, very hard.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, because I even I used to have a house that I got in like 2018, and then I sold it recently when I saw that the interest rates were increasing so dramatically now. Even right now, if you were to buy a house, sure, houses are a little bit more expensive, but the real problem is the interest rates. So a house that's $300,000, you would pay about $2,000 a month for your mortgage. 2017, that same house that's also cost $200,000. That cost $300,000. I mean, you will pay like maybe $3,500 a month now for the same exact house because the interest rates are like 8%, 9% for some places. So it's absolutely ridiculous. I actually have some questions here and comments from our watchers right here. From Gabriel Surabo, he says, "I'm excited for Titan X launch. I only have one question. Do you have access to the Genesis wallet? It concerns me that 3% of Ethereum goes there. Can you elaborate?"
Yep. So for the people that don't know, if you go on the white paper, there's a mining ETH distribution. So when people start mining it, their miner gets split up. I'm just adding context for some people. 62% goes to the buy and burn.
Which one is it? Which part of the screen?
It's under virtual mining, the mining ETH distribution. Just under virtual mining, the section under mining.
Okay.
Yep, there. So 62% of all the Ethereum used to start miners goes towards decentralized buy and burn smart contract. 28% goes to payout cycles, to payout stakers. 7% goes to the burn pool to reward people from burning for other projects like Hyper in the future. And then 3% of it goes to Genesis. Now, there's a very, very specific reason we did this. So the reason we say you should have no expectation whatsoever is just for legal reasons, so nobody has any expectations. But one of the big issues we've identified within the Zen ecosystem is there's so many projects that launch on top of it that have good intentions, but then they fail because there's nobody or there's no benevolent whale whatsoever to provide liquidity between the pairs. So they just start and go to zero, and everybody forgets about them. So you need a benevolent whale of some kind to have an application layer style crypto where a benevolent whale can provide liquidity between two like crucial projects within the Titanx ecosystem that doesn't care about losing money. So for something like this to work and to really scale hard, you need thick liquidity between the pairs so that everything gets dragged up together. And it can only get dragged up together if there's some kind of benevolent entity that creates thick liquidity pairs so that the prices move together. And that's why something like the Genesis will be needed.
Okay. So pretty much what may or may not happen is that you have the 3% goes into having a bunch of different cryptos that are linked together, and there's just a constant high amount of supply.
Yep. But it's going to be everybody's going to love the Genesis wallet after they see what it does with Hyper. So Hyper is going to be the first project, burning project on top of Titanx, and there's going to be some crazy magic that happens between the liquidity pool between Titanx and Hyper. It's going to be some good stuff. So Hyper is kind of under wraps for now. We're targeting the launch of Hyper because we still need to develop it roughly 100 days in. And then Hyper is also going to be a second buy and burning protocol for Titanx.
What does Hyper do? Can you just give me a high level?
Yep. So there's a couple main, without giving the whole sauce away, is you need something that burns Titanx so that it becomes net deflationary. So every day there's supply that comes out, the supply gets buy and burned as well. So the buy and burn is a big deflationary element to the supply of Titanx because it buys it off the market and then burns it forever so it can never be sold. But then you also have this proof of burn element where other projects can build on top of Titanx and use Titanx burning as a form of getting community, etc., and adoption and burning Titanx, which increases the value of it. So Hyper is going to be one of these burning projects. Hyper is going to have a lot of utility because it's going to allow people to get liquid on their stakes. So for example, in Titanx, you can either buy on market and then stake your coins to get a part of the Ethereum payout cycles that goes to stakers. Another thing you can also do is you can start miners. At the end of your miners, you get your Titanx, you claim them, and then you can stake it. Now, once you stake, you're locked in, similar to Hex. So the max stake length is 3,500 days. And let's say at day 800, you're like, hey, I think we hit the top of the market. I want to get out of my stake. Well, you're not allowed to get out of your stake. So the only way to get out is going to be burning your stake for something like Hyper. So it will allow you to get liquid on your stake. And there's also going to be some heavy buy and burn elements between Titanx and Hyper. And Hyper is essentially designed to pull the entire ecosystem up with it. That's the high level I'll give for now, but it's gonna be some good stuff. I only care about buy and burn.
Why did you decide to make it impossible to end your stake? Because I know places like Zen, you can end your stake anytime. All you have to do is just pay gas fees. And Hex, you can end your stake, but you pay gas fees and you pay a penalty on top of that. But with yours, you cannot end your stake ever.
Well, you can. So it's similar to Hex. So if you end your Hex stake before 50%, you lose 100% of it. Okay. Now, Hex had a very dark pattern inside of it where, let's say you do a 1,000-day stake and you end your stake on day 200, you lose 100% and it doesn't stop you from ending it. So you just lose 100% of your value, which is bad design because a lot of people got wrecked on that. So with Titan, it doesn't allow you to end before 50%. After 50%, it allows you to end, but you lose 50%. So it's better to just burn your stake for Hyper or wait until the end of your stake and get your tokens back.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then you should probably just burn it for Hyper then, because Hyper you still get 100% of the value of the Titanx, but it's in the Hyper form. But if you just end it regularly in the 50%, you only get 50%, right?
Exactly. And also, if people burn their stakes, it removes future supply for Titanx.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so let's go through. Oh, actually, let me see. We have some more questions and comments. We have a comment from Bossman that says, I can't wait for the launch on Saturday. Yes, so it's officially on Saturday that's coming out. It's not Halloween anymore?
Nope, 28th October.
Okay, because you did say it's this month and this month. And usually when people, especially people that come out with projects, they're like this month. We usually expect it to be like the last day of the month because it's so hard. You have to go through audits, and then your audits come out. And you know how cryptocurrency is written in stone, right? So once you come out with it, you can't really fix it without relaunching the whole thing again. So yep. Bossman says again that Titanx is going to be the bull cycle's dark horse. Yes, that's true. Yeah, I'm gonna full transparency, I'm probably going to buy some Titan X right now. I'll be able to buy it on like Uniswap, or where would I be able to get it?
It depends. So it's going to be a tricky game trying to buy it on launch. So on launch, there's going to be an initial liquidity pool of 8 Ethereum and 100 billion Titan X. That's going to be the initial liquidity pool, and that's locked inside of the buy and burn contract. So I don't own it. It's basically locked liquidity is what you can assume. It's locked liquidity, basically, because it's owned by the smart contract with no app and keys to access it. So 8 Ethereum and 100 billion Titan X. So if you're fast, you can actually buy it on market, and it would be an extremely good play. There's just going to be a lot of competition on that pool. So if you want to build a decent sized position, the best way to probably do it is mining.
Okay.
So me, for example, since I'm deploying the contracts and stuff, I probably don't even have time to buy it on the market. So I'm just going to spam miners. That's going to be my game plan, because I have to participate like everybody else. So my goal is to be the number one whale, and I'm doing it with my own money. So there's no pre-sale or ICO or anything. It's just a fair launch.
Okay. Crypto Keeper says, when it's called being propped up by lies and venture capitalist money, Solana is a chain to run from. Jake knows the money in DeFi in ETH is real money, not a chain that turns on and off like a water faucet. Yeah. So they're saying that VCs are pretty depending on what chain it is, like Solana. You might have some venture capitalists, or vulture capitalists is what people jokingly call them sometimes. Because they take advantage of people. So that's why, yeah, this is really good. This is awesome. This is why Bitcoin was created, to be fair launch crypto. Hex and Zen and this, I guess, are the only, and the ones that are in the ecosystem are the only ones that's like really fair launch crypto, where everything is like available for anyone to get anytime they want. There's no pre-launch or anything like that. And that's what's messed up a lot of people that were early adopters for these chains and these protocols. They thought they were doing the right thing by being early, but they still ended up getting wrecked by their own people. How do you benefit from this yourself, though? I know this wasn't easy or cheap to make this token. Is that what the part of the 3% is, that you're not allowed to legally say? If you don't want to answer, it's fine. But
I mean,
how do you make
that assumptions? Well, one, by participating myself. So I became a millionaire at 26, so I have plenty of money to participate myself. So probably my personal funds are probably going to be a big whale in this ecosystem. One of the benefits you have as a founder is you know exactly what's coming up. So you feel very confident. Like, it's a lot easier for me to put my own money in my own project because I know what's coming up. I know the future of it, rather than putting it in some random thing with an undoxed developer that lives in his mom's basement. So that's what I'll make most of my money. But then, yeah, you have also the Genesis and stuff like that. Yeah. The cool thing about the Genesis is it's all on chain and transparent. So everybody's going to be able to see the wallet and see exactly what it does in terms of benevolent behaviors for the ecosystem. So it's not like it's some kind of black dark box where it goes to Tornado Cash. Everybody's going to be able to see what happens with the Genesis. Isn't Tornado Cash illegal now? Didn't they ban that? Yeah, exactly. If you use Tornado Cash, it's almost impossible to off-ramp unless you go to something like Singapore. Some exchanges accept it just with massive fees. Yeah. He says, the Bossman also says, I got a question for Jake. What impact does you think a hyper will have for Titan X? Okay, yeah, exactly. So it's just going to burn Titan X and then make it go up pretty much. I mean, the only thing I care about is price performance, not ROI. I think the number one utility of crypto is making people money. Everything else is just, I don't care. Yes, thank you for saying that. Because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm in it for the technology. I'm in it for new technology and all that stuff. I'm a software developer myself too, so I get it. It's cool enough. Nice. But I am here to make money. I don't care. Yeah, in fact, I do get it though, right? Because you're having regimes that want to print money endlessly. And they're coming out with CBDCs where they allow you to have total control of your money. And crypto is a way to combat that, even though they are going to use cryptocurrency, the technology itself, to make these CBDCs. But decentralized cryptos like Bitcoin, like this, like Zen or whatever, they allow you, the technology is really good. But the best part about these tokens is that you make a lot of value. You 10 extra money, 100 extra money. That's really what we're here for, all of us. Like, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so the virtual mining, how does the mining work? It's proof of work, right? Or is it proof of stake? Do you use electric proof to do this, or how do you mine new tokens? So it's very, very similar to Zen. So we call it virtual mining. So you don't need GPUs, CPU, you don't need any of that. So it's built on top of Ethereum. So it's an ERC20 token. And all you will have to do is go to the DApp. It's on app.next.win. Hold on, can you repeat that again? Because you're going in and out. Your voice is going in and out. Okay, so virtual mining basically means that you don't need GPUs or CPUs or whatever. All you need to do is go to the DApp, which is going to be app.next.win. and it's locked for now. I will unlock on launch once all the contracts are deployed. But there's going to be a big blue button, and it's going to be called Create Miner. So all you need to create your miner is Ethereum and time. So you don't need any hardware. Wait, am I dropping off, or is it on your end? Let me double check.
Give me 1 second. The quality is pretty bad. Hold on.
Well, let's ask in the comments. Is everything good?
Okay, it's better now. Your voice was very choppy. I hardly heard anything that you said.
It could be on my end. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I'll switch VPNs. But can somebody in the comments say, is it on my end or on Benito's end?
Let me see. Okay, can you say something?
Yep. Okay, so apparently it's on your end?
I think it's on my end. Okay. Okay, it's working.
So basically with the virtual mining is you won't need GPUs or CPUs. All you need is Ethereum and time. So as long as you have Ethereum in your wallet and you can click a big blue button on the DApp that says Create Miner, that's all you need to know. So you don't need any hardware because it's built on top of Ethereum. It's very similar to, because Hex staking is called mining now, it's very similar to Hex mining, where you just click a button on the DApp and everything gets handled inside of the smart contract.
Let's go to your Twitter actually, what's the name of the website where you can do the mining?
It's going to be app. So you see Titenex.win in the top left. It's app.titenex.win. But it's locked for now. You'll need a password to enter.
You won't see anything?
Nope. You can try to go.
Yeah. Okay, so you have to have a password and everything right now to do it.
Yep, and this website will unlock once all the contracts are deployed. So on the 28th of October.
Okay. Okay, let's get into some more questions now, actually. We have can you elaborate on spam mining? That's just mining, that's just having a lot of miners, right?
Pretty much, yep.
Okay, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. What is the results of the third audit? You just had a third audit, I'm guessing. Everything is perfect now? Yep. What were the problems that you had before?
So we did a first audit with a guy called Akshay, second audit with a guy called Dead Roses, and the third audit was Gogo the Auditor. You can actually find him on Twitter. So the first audit, I think we had 3 high severities, 2 critical ones, somewhere around that. We fixed all of that. So the way audits work is first they go to the code base, they try to attack it, then they make a report with all the attacks they found, then you fix it, and then you have a fix review. So we did that process with auditor number 1. We did that process with auditor number 2. Auditor number 2 actually only found one thing, which was a very small thing. And auditor number 3, I can even show you the Telegram messages. I'll send a screenshot or whatever on Twitter. He actually came back today and is like, hey, man, I'm trying super hard to crack this, but I can't find anything. Like the 2 auditors did a really good job. And all of these audits are going to be published, so people are going to be able to verify everything.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, but there's 3 audits.
Yeah, how many developers do you have? Are you developing it yourself or you're doing it with other people, I'm guessing?
Yep, there's one Solidity developer. He's fucking amazing. So I created the DApp because I used to be a lead software engineer, front end and back end, so I'm good at creating UIs. So the DApp is created by me and coded by me, and the actual smart contracts are coded by the Solidity dev.
Do you have a preview of what the DApp is going to look like pictures or anything like that?
I could. Let's see. I can't pull it up, but the numbers won't work because there's no live contract linked to it yet.
Okay, this is just a video. I was trying to see if it's
I'll actually show you something.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can share my screen. So share screen. Chrome tab. Okay, so this is going to be the website. This is what it's going to look like. So as you can see, there's no days, there's no numbers, there's no nothing, because there's no contracts linked to it. But this is what the UI will look like on the mining page. All you have to do, so there's 2 options. You either create a single miner, which is going to create 1 miner, or you batch create miners, which will create up to 100 miners at a time at whatever power you set, at whatever length you set. So you can do up to 100 at a time. If you batch create, it will create 100 miners here. And then here you have 3 different tabs. So you have active miners, which are the ones that are mining now, have not ended yet. Claimable miners. These are the miners that have ended. So it automatically filters them out, puts them here, so it's easy for you to end them. There's also a batch claim option, where this will claim up to 100 available miners at once. So you don't have to click around like a monkey, like doing it 100 times. Like, for example, on Zen, this is a massive issue.
Yes,
I hate
thank you, God. Let me stop you right there. Thank you, guys. That's the number one problem with Zen. So I do a lot of mining too. So it would take me, if I want to do 100 100 ZenFTs, it would take me 2 hours, 3 hours to do it. And if it's on a slow network like Ethereum, that will take like 4, 5, 6 hours, right? And this was a problem before with just the regular Zen mints, but thankfully Jack came out with the ZenFTs to combat this. But you still want to do more stuff. Like you want to do batches of batches, right? That's why you do 100 ZenFTs. So this one is going to allow you to do many miners you're doing batch miners, right?
Yep. So this is the batch miner option.
Okay.
This is going to allow you to create them all at the same time. And then you can batch claim them as well. And here you see all of your ended miners.
Okay. Nice. And you can
so this is what the UI is going to look like.
Okay, I see the buy and burn at the top too, and everything like that.
Yep, exactly. So you have mining, staking. So this is going to be the staking page. People can see all of the data in here. And payouts, there's going to be the payout for the actual stakers. The buy and burn. So the buy and burn and distributed Ethereum function. So distributed Ethereum function, this is the centralized function, meaning that people will actually have to call it. So when people start miners, all of this Ethereum goes towards a pool, and then users have to run the function to distribute it towards everywhere it needs to go. So individual users don't have to pay for it. It's just one big function. And then here is going to be where people actually buy and burn. And then there's going to be tools, like there's going to be a shareable calculator. There's going to be social tooling built on top of it. Uniswap embedded. Docs. So there's also going to be a stats page where people will be able to see liquid, stake, penalties, user burn, buy and burn, global T ranks. There's going to be charts here. People can take screenshots. This is kind of what the UI will look like.
So what are you buying and what are you burning? You're buying the Titan-X and you're burning the Titan-X?
Yep, correct. If you want to...
I guess we can go through the white paper itself and explain step by step. Why are we buying and burning? What is the purpose of that?
Yep, so you can buy or mine. Very important distinction. If you mine, it's the better option, in my opinion, if you're willing to wait. Buying on market is going to be tricky because it will operate very similar to Zen at the start, but then because of the daily update, it becomes massively deflationary very, very quickly. So it's going to go from hyperinflationary to hyperdeflationary, especially with I didn't even think about this, but especially because of hyperinflationary, hyperdeflationary.
Yeah,
just mind it. It's kind of funny. So the reason you would buy and burn is you would, for example, go buy Titan-X off market and then burn it for hyper if you wanted to. But the ideal kind of game theory way of doing it is you would start your miners, claim your Titan-X, and then either stake in the Titan-X core, or you burn it for something like hyper. So it's very similar to Zen in that aspect, if that makes a little easier to make the link.
Okay. You would want to buy it and burn it because the less Titan-X that's available, the higher the price of the Titan-X that's there, that people that hold it.
Yep, and there's probably going to be massive arbitrage opportunities between Titan-X and hyper.
Yes, that's true. Okay, let's just go through let's go step by step through this. Okay, so virtual mining. I'm guessing this you don't have to have a powerful CPU to do this. You just run the protocol, like you said.
Yep, exactly. Like the big blue button I just showed on the UI.
Okay. So just a big blue button. You don't need to do anything special.
Exactly.
When you mine the ETH distribution, yeah, we talked about this before. So this is so when you mine, you also have to pay some ETH just to mine, and this will make it more powerful, right? What do you call it? Yeah. So the more ETH that you put into your miner, the more Titan-X that you get back, and then this is what we use all that Ethereum for.
Yeah. So to add a little bit of context, so Zen had, because most of your followers probably know Zen. So I like Zen. I'm a top 10 whale in Zen. So this initial protocol was actually designed to include Zen, but then Jack started doing some stuff that pissed me off, like VMPX launch and stuff. So I was like, I'm not building it on top of Zen, and that's when it became this, which is actually really good. So basically, what was your question again? I went off on a tangent.
Yeah, it's fine. So the different distributions that you use for, I mean, you have to use Ethereum to create your miner, right? So then you use your Ethereum to, I guess you use this to pay back the people that are mining, that your miners. What is,
so 62% goes towards the buy and burn. So for example, Zen had $80 million. Well, roughly, let's say 80% of that was the start miner. So $60 million going into actual creating NFTs and miners, etc., etc. Now imagine if 62% of that 60 million went towards buy and burn. That would be $32 million of buy pressure on the market. Zen would probably be sitting at roughly 1,000x to 5,000x if that was with this design. So the buy and burn is A lot, and the buy and burn is going to click when people see the chart. They're going to be like, "Oh shit, fuck, what?"
Yeah.
So the buy and burn is going to be insane.
Yes.
And then the 28% goes towards stakers, and this get paid out in payout cycles. So the stakers get rewarded in Ethereum and not in Titan-X. And this is very important design principle because when people, another big important point is when you stake your Titan-X tokens are locked, but your yield is liquid, meaning that whenever you get a payout, you can claim your Ethereum whenever you want, but your tokens are locked.
Yeah.
So
that's very similar to DXN, DBZN. Very, very similar.
Yep. But then with a time lock.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh, yours has a time lock on it.
Yeah, because you can end before 50%.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is great for the price.
And then, okay, so then the 7% goes to the burn pool. Oh, so this is, yes, exactly. I remember this. This is just a bonus for how much you work with the entire ecosystem. In the past 28 days, if you've done burning for, what is it, for Hyper, or if you've done burning for other projects that are going to be built on top of it, 7% of that will go to like a bonus, like you get a little bonus for participating in the burn. And then a 3% is for the liquidity that you were talking about. Okay. So, yeah, okay. So this is tokenomics, I guess, to also increase the amount of value that you get back, the return that you get back. ETH costs for miners go up 0.08% every single day. And then Titan-X mineable per day of mining goes down negative 3.35% based on the day before. So what does this mean? Can you explain this a little bit better?
Yep. So the best way, so this mining idea is perfect for getting a fair distribution of the initial tokens and to build a diehard community at the start. But then the only thing that creates value is something that is scarce. It's impossible to have abundance and value at the same time. It's almost impossible to pull off unless you get like 100 million people adopted in it. So this makes it so that it becomes more expensive to create Titan-X over time, and you get less over time. So you kind of get this double exponential on. You get, if you go down a little bit, you'll see the charts.
Okay.
Yep. So this is the ETH cost per Titan-X max miner. So max miner, whenever we refer to a max miner, that's 100 power. So you can also do a 1 power miner. So you can do any number between 1 and 100. So if you do a 1 power miner, at the start you pay 0.002 Ethereum instead of 0.2. So your miner power determines your cost. So smaller people can still get in, just have to do miner power a little bit less. But this makes it more expensive over time to mine Titan-X. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, the supply mineable per day, it starts at 8 million, and this is base. So at the start, it's actually going to be 8.8 million because you get a 10% early adoption bonus. It starts at 8 million, but then it works its way all the way down to 800. So it drops from 8.8 million to 800 per day, which is an 11,000x decrease in the amount of Titan that people are getting from their miners as time goes on, which makes it a lot more scarce and pushes the price floor up.
Okay, so you're saying that if you do one mine and you put in 1 Ethereum the first day, you're going to get 8 million Titan-X or 8.8 million Titan-X, right? And then by day 3,000, if you put in 1 Ethereum, you're only going to get 800
per day of mining.
I'm sorry?
Per day of mining. So for example, if you do 280 days, you can do that times 280, and then all the reductions also apply to older miners. So it starts at like day 1, you get 8 million, day 2, you get 7.975 million, and then the reductions apply to everybody, including old miners.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And it's no one else gets it. It's just locked in its own vault or wallet. You said it starts off with 8 billion, right? 8 billion in total?
Yeah, so this is important design. There's no pool that holds this Titan-X. You create it with your own private keys. So you create your own tokens. So there's no initial supply. The users create the supply. Well, except for what is locked in the liquidity pool, which is like 100 billion.
Okay, got you. And then what is this Titan rank bonus?
Yep. So the T rank bonus.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the T rank bonus is pretty much, so let's say you start a miner and your miner number 2001. And by the time you end, so you can look at this as a miner number, pretty much your miner ID. So let's say you have 2001. If by the time you end your miner, it's at 5,000, now you have the difference between 2001 and 5,000, which is 2,999. And you would get your T rank bonuses. So for example, if it's all 100 power miners after you, it's 2,200 times 2,999. So it's basically, it's like a global referral program to incentivize people to bring other people in.
Yeah, so the more people that join, the more money that you get yourself, which is very similar to what Zen is doing too. Okay.
Yep.
That's really cool. And then share rate, and then it ends at about 4,200 or so. What is the share rate min to max?
Yep. So the share rate starts at 800. So the way you get your payouts from staking is very similar to Hex, where you have to have. So when you do, for example, you stake 1 million Titan X. Well, let's do it easier. You stake 800,000 Titan X for one. Let's just say for the minimum 28 days. So you stake 800,000, and if the share rate is 800, you basically get 800,000 divided by 800 shares, and then you get paid out based on your shares versus everybody's shares in the staking pool. And the longer out you go, the less you pay per share. So you're incentivized to stake long and big.
Okay. So bigger pays more and longer pays more too. Bigger pays. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then, okay, so we're now staking. So we've talked about this. The maximum that you can stake is 3,500 days. It must be at least 28 days. And then the payout cycles. Okay, so this is very unique. I don't think anyone else has done this before. You're doing payout cycles. That's 8 days, 8-day multiples, 28 days, on and so forth. So this means that on day 888, do you get both of these and they multiply on each other? You know what I'm saying? You get the 8-day multiple plus the 888-day multiple.
Yep. If two of them, for example, on day 56, there's a 28-day cycle that triggers an 8-day cycle. So on that day, you will get 2 payouts, for example.
Okay. And okay, this is what I was talking about. And the distribution is like this. Okay. So 8% goes to 888-day. And then 28% goes to 8-day. But actually, this 8% is way higher than this 28%, right? Because this hardly ever happens, but this happens 4 or 5 times a month. So, or 3 times a month. So even though it's 28 seems higher, this is going to be way more. This is probably going to be 100 times more of a payout, 1,000 times more of a payout, right? Why did you do this? Why did you decide to split it up like this instead of doing it every day at 10 a.m. or something?
Because you want to make, it's kind of like dangling a carrot for people to stay in the ecosystem. So what happened during the Hex launch, you had the big payday. So everybody before the big payday wanted to get into Hex because the big payday was coming up. So these are kind of like rolling big paydays, especially the 369 ones and 888 ones, because everybody's looking at these dates and these payout pools building up. So they want to be part of it. So for example, if you want to exit Titan X and you're like, I'm done with this ecosystem, you're probably going to stick around for at least 369 days to see that payout pool. Yeah. So it's kind of like a carrot to keep people in the ecosystem and get people to stake long, because the earlier you stake, the more shares you get. And it becomes harder and harder to get Titan. So the early people are actually heavily incentivized to stake to get those the most shares possible with the most Titan possible. So it forces early people also to stay in the ecosystem for longer if they want to get part of the payout pool.
And he says that it never stops, but I guess like 10 years, although I guess it's a good thing. 10 years from now, though, the amount of distribution that you get is very, where was that chart? Yeah, very small. Like, so even though it never stops and it gets smaller as time goes on, you can still mine it forever. And I guess that makes sense too. You do want your protocol to last forever. You want it to never end. But that just incentivizes you to get in as early as you can. Because if you don't, you're going to miss the opportunity. So that's good for hype right now. What I would do is I would suggest that people look at these numbers, look at these dates, and then try to time them towards the end of 2025. Because we know that's when the bull run is probably going to happen. It's not guaranteed, right? I'm not a financial advisor, just not have financial advice, but the peak of this next bull market is going to be the end of 2025, right? So I would suggest at least that you try to time your stuff to end around there. Actually, 888 days, I believe, is like, isn't that around the end of 2025?
I think it's a little bit later than that.
A little bit later.
So the timing was basically made so that you have 2 good full 280-day cycles before we hit the bullet on top.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay, let's get to the burning. So the burning, 7% of, you get a 7% bonus for burning, right? So if the burn pool is $1 million worth of ETH and the total Titan X burned is 200 billion, the user burned 1 billion, they get 1/200 billion, so $5,000 of the total burning pool at the end of the 28-day cycle. Okay, so you get about $5,000 worth of Titan X.
No, of Ethereum. So 7%. So let's say there's 1,000 Ethereum that comes in to start miners, which wouldn't surprise me at all. So if 1,000 Ethereum comes in to start miners, 70 Ethereum of that gets allocated towards the burn pool. This burn pool isn't activated at the start. This burn pool gets activated once Hyper goes live. So probably 100 days in, this gets activated. So at the start, it's actually 69% that goes to buy and burn because the 7% gets redirected to the buy and burn until the burn pool enables. So it's actually 69%. But basically, let's say people burn 200 billion to participate in Hyper, which is just a project built on top of NetNext. So this applies to every other project. But if 100 billion burns and they burn 1 billion, they get 1% of whatever Ethereum is in that burn pool at the end of when the burn pool cycle triggers, which is going to be at the same time as the 28-day payout.
Okay, nice.
This incentivizes people to stay active in the ecosystem.
Yeah, so it never stops. You constantly look at it. Yeah, because I know some ecosystems that have been built on top of Zen. They had a lot of hype at the beginning, but then they died out because there was no real incentive to keep coming back over and over again.
Yeah, and there's also no liquidity.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah, there you go. So, and I mean, these tokens are not dead. Let's not lie to ourselves. Especially like, let's say this time next year when the bull market is like starting to have its full swing, people are definitely going to run into all these Zen ecosystem tokens that are out. But from now until then, people have forgotten about them. They don't really care about them. So the fact that you are incentivizing people to pay attention to this at least every 28 days is actually a really good idea. Okay, and proof of burn 2.0. What's the difference between 2.0 and versus regular proof of burn?
Yep. So the normal proof of burn, basically users. So for example, when you burn your Zen for DBZen, it gets burned. That's cool. But DBZen doesn't get anything. So developers, and this is kind of like the funny thing about first principles building is. So imagine this: you're a builder for the first principle. Like for example, TitanX took over $100,000 to build, and there's probably going to be over $1,000 a month in DevOps and chain monitoring, like services that we pay for. So it's relatively expensive to buy. But the issue with building on top of first principles, where there's the expectation that founders don't make any money at all, is they have to put a crap ton of money up front. They have to go through all the regulatory stuff and become an attack target because they started the crypto. And then they spend all of that money, spend all of that stuff. And then the expectation is they don't get paid anything. And in fact, if they get paid anything, they get laughed at and ridiculed by the community, which is fucking horrible for attracting builders.
Yeah.
So what TitanX did is, so for example, let's say you're the DBZen team, for example, and you've burned 1 trillion TitanX with your protocol. You actually get up to 8%, and this is developer fee that people can actually set. You get up to 8% of whatever TitanX is burned for your protocol. So this is like income for builders.
Okay. So it's a way for the builders to get paid automatically. It's almost like a way for them to, I mean, it's true. It's a way for them to collect income for building this project. And it's true. I mean, a lot of people do things for a labor of love. That's why open source code was created. Create something and then you release it for free. But you should still get paid for the work that you put in, right? Because it incentivizes you to put out work, and not even just work. It incentivizes you to put out quality work, because the more quality your work is, the more likely people are going to want to participate in it. And whoever participates in this, it's not like they're necessarily paying for it. They're just taking parts of their profit. They're taking 8% of their profit and giving it to the.
Well, they're burning 100% anyway.
They're burning 100%, exactly. So what difference does it make? And can a creator decide to not even participate in this 8%, or does it automatically happen? Okay,
they can set it on 0% if they want.
They can set it at 0%. Okay. And then this is the buy and burn. Okay, so what is this right here? Users can get a 0.33% of their Ethereum and distribute ETH as incentive for calling the smart contract. What does that mean?
Yep. So there's two main functions that users need to call. One is distribute Ethereum. So when people start their miners, all of this Ethereum gets put into a pool, and then the users call distribute Ethereum because it has to be decentralized like this. Let's say there's 1,000 Ethereum in that pool ready to be distributed, and then when they click that function, it will put 62% to the buy and burn. At 28, it will do all of the functions needed to kind of make the protocol run, and they get 0.33% of that Ethereum to cover their gas costs for running the function.
Okay.
And same thing for the buy and burn. So they get 0.33% of whatever the swap for the buy and burn is. And this is the paid out in Ethereum to cover their gas costs for running it. Some people will even run it at a profit.
Okay, nice. And then this is a page for builders, for developers that want to create this. That's really good for the 8% that we were talking about, the burning fee that the developers get to get.
Yeah. I'm trying to push this idea for the TitanX builders is I honestly don't care about anything unless it has time locks and buy and burn. So I don't care about people building meme coins with TitanX. But if people build buy and burn protocols with time locks, hell yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay.
That's how you get it to go up.
Gotcha. Yeah. When you do buy and burn, you do time locks. Those are two incentives that definitely help your ecosystem automatically by itself.
Yep.
And you don't even have to, because with cryptocurrency, it's not even math based. It's really psychology based, right? Because that's why in Bitcoin, when we go through the halving event, the price doesn't automatically double as soon as the halving event happens, and that's because you're dealing with human beings. So human beings are just stuck in their ways. The day before, let's say that Bitcoin is 50,000. The halving event is estimated to happen the middle of April, right? So let's say April 14th, Bitcoin is 50,000. April 15th, Bitcoin is still like 50,000 or 51,000, even though Bitcoin should be 100,000 because it's been cut in half. But because you're dealing with human beings, it slowly grows up all the way up for the next 18 months to 2 years, and then you have the peak of the bull run in the end of 2025, right? Because you're dealing with human beings, and when it goes in the peak of the bull run, it's worth more than it should be worth because everyone is hyped into it. Your grandma's hyped into it. I remember the last bull run, my mom and my dad called me randomly, and they were like, "Oh, do you know anything about this Bitcoin? Can you help me buy some of it right now?" And I never told them anything about Bitcoin, and they were asking me to teach them about Bitcoin just because they don't even know how it works, but because they saw so many people making money, they just ran into it, and they just decided to buy it at the worst time. They decided to buy it at it was like September or October, a month before the all-time high, which is the worst time to buy it, and they bought a lot of it. And that's what happens all the time. That's what happened in 2017, and that's what's going to happen again in 2025. So yeah, let's get into some more questions actually. So what are the disadvantages of mining ladder versus the max mining for 280 days?
Yep. So for the people that don't know, a mining ladder is basically, so let's say you have 10 Ethereum to deploy. A mining ladder would be like putting 2 Ethereum worth of miners for 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. So you kind of ladder them out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mining ladder. And then in general, max mining is going to be better because you get way more coins for way less.
Mm-hmm.
So for the people that are maxing chads and don't mind waiting 280 days, it's definitely better to do max mining. But some people like playing it. Some people like, so for example, if you do a mining ladder like 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, you might get your miners during a massive price bump. So they could be more profitable than starting max miners.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like a very personal preference. But in general, math-wise, it's definitely better to do max mining.
Yeah, so for me to answer this question, the reason is because you still have to live your life during those 280 days. So you can wait. Patience is a virtue, that's nice, but you can still get some of your profit during those 280 days. You can get it every 30 days and then use it to pay your bills or pay different things that you have to pay for, that you have to live, because you have to live during those days. So you can't just wait, starve for those 280 days, unless you already have money, right? You can't just starve for those 280 days and get that. And then also, like you said, there might be some days within those 280 days that go up so dramatically. I don't know if you remember in April of this year, Zen was worth about 15 times that it is right now. So if you did a ladder during April, you would have made so much money during those 15 years. And let's say that you waited until now to end your mint or whatever, you would have 15 times less than the person that did the ladder stake. So there's definitely benefits and negatives for this too. Okay, so
100%.
Yeah. So Mr. Chuck said that if we burn a miner for hyper, do we get credited the full amount of Titan-X we would have had if we had mined the full term, or is it based on the days served?
So you're not going to be able to burn miners for hyper. You're going to be able to burn liquid or staked.
Okay.
So the miner doesn't really matter. And if you burn a stake, you get the full Titan-X in the stake, as if you were just burning a liquid.
Okay, gotcha. Let me see. Okay, can you create an actual video demo of yourself exploring this DApp? I think that would be very helpful to very, very noobs in this game. Yeah, I'm sure he will. And a lot of people, or will you do it?
Yeah, for sure. After launch.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would do it. I'll probably do it too. I'll probably play around with it, see how it works. I usually do like tutorials with stuff. Usually when I do the tutorials, I try to do a practice run before, and then when I release the video, I'm doing it the second time. But almost always it fails because I do these tutorial videos like the first day or second day that it comes out, and the protocol is always busy. It always crashes. There's still some bugs that are not, or probably front-end bugs, but there's still some front-end bugs that are never fixed and stuff like that. So yeah, there's going to be many people that will release tutorials. Okay, yeah, so I'd like to transition to this next phase. I used to ask all people this. What do you like to do on your free time besides crypto that's not crypto related? I know you told me that you became a millionaire through your marketing business. Is that what it was?
So the marketing business made good money, but I became a millionaire through crypto.
Oh, okay, nice.
So I
Nice.
basically funneled all profit from the marketing agency into crypto, and then exited very close to the top, like roughly a month before the top. I exited, and then I just waited for a year and a half. That was pretty much it. So as long as you play the cycles, you're good.
Did you what did you invest in? This was I'm guessing 2021. What did you invest in the most?
So ADA was a very big one. I made like 30x on ADA. I also played the meme coin gains. So on the meme coins, I made like whatever 70, 80x. So, and I wasn't starting with a small amount of money. It was like multiple tens of thousands. So I didn't need big pumps to make it big. That's kind of one of the benefits, because Warren Buffett, I think it actually was Charlie Munger, always used to say your first 100 grand is the hardest. Once you have 100 grand, it's a lot easier.
Yes.
Like going from 100 grand to $1 million, so much fucking easier than starting with 2,000, for example.
Yes. Because with 2,000, you have to 50x it. But if you have 100,000, you only have to like 10x it or 9x it. And even me, myself, okay, so in 2021, I didn't make that much money. I made about maybe, I would say $50,000 worth of profit. But the coin that I made the most money from was Matic. And I think I did a 10x on Matic on Polygon. So, and that was just lucky. I didn't even really, I just thought that Matic was a cool token that did the same thing that Ethereum did for cheaper. So I just put money in it and it absolutely exploded. So hopefully this time, that I'm heavily into Zen and post-chain, my idea is to then therefore, make lots of money.
I mean, that's the thing, man. In a bull market, you can just be throwing darts around and make money. Yeah. It's so easy in a bull market.
It's so crazy. Man. Everybody's a genius during the bull market.
Exactly.
Bossman says, are you going to be able to mine Hyper also?
No, the only way to be able to get Hyper is going to be through Titanx.
And you can also probably buy it from the ecosystem. I mean, from exchanges.
But the biggest liquidity pool is going to be between Titanx and Hyper for some buy and burn reasons. That's the buy and burn for a Hyper is going to be a separate buy and burn contract that will do some magic inside of the liquidity pools. Okay,
nice. I guess I kind of cut you off. What do you like to do besides cryptocurrency on your free time or for work or for anything?
Learn. Pretty much all I do is spend time with my girlfriend, work, and then learn. That's pretty much it. I don't do anything else except for working out. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I've been trying to work out now because sitting in front of a computer all day is not healthy. I sit in front of a computer to do crypto. I sit in front of a computer to do work. So I've been trying to work out more now, going to CrossFit, stuff like that. And at first, it's very annoying to go to CrossFit, but after a while, you get very addicted to it. So your body, it's almost like your body will like force you. Oh, you'll feel like your body forcing you to. Oh, I haven't gone to the gym. It's time to suffer some more now. So, yeah. Well, Jake, this was an awesome talk. It was really great talking to you. Where can they find you? Where can people find you? Your Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff.
The best way would be on YouTube. Look for Jake Sharpe, and then you'll find all of my Twitter stuff in the bio of a video. It's probably the best way to find it. But if you're on YouTube, just type in Jake Sharpe. You'll probably find my stuff, or type in Titanx Crypto in the search bar. Half of the videos are mine, so you'll be able to find my channel.
Okay, awesome. Well, again, it was great talking to you. Let's definitely have another chat again in the future. Probably after Titanx comes out and when Hyper comes out too. We'll definitely have another talk about that. It was great talking.
Definitely going to be a lot more exciting after the chat.
Yep. And I can see the bull market starting. So there's going to be more people that's coming into cryptocurrency in general. So it's going to be a lot more money, a lot more people into this. So it's going to be awesome. Again, it was great talking to you. Let's definitely do this again.
Likewise.
All right. See you.